Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and hey, look what we got today! Straight out of the mailbox where it was squished and smashed to accommodate the tiny area that the mailman likes to put my mail. We have the late Roman Legionaries in the Lorica Hamata. Kuna Matata. You can see here as they are all equipped with their big shields. What do they call the darts? The pumbata? Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. So, this is for a new subline, The Decline and Fall, the Imperial Rome at War. And I know we have seen the Goths that are going to be coming as well for this line. Those are kind of cool. It's been a while since I've gotten to do a Wargames Atlantic kit. I guess that's no fault of my own. But, I gotta say, my first disappointment is the fact that I only get 24 guys in a box. Maybe I got too spoiled with like the Irish and the Afghans, and even though I haven't done a video on them, the Persians and stuff like that. I feel like you got a lot of guys in there, and it's not to say that there aren't a lot of parts on this sprue. I mean, geez, look how many heads you get alone. I know some of you converters out there, especially you crazy ones, there's definitely some fun to be had here. So that is always a good thing. We've got horn, we've got the icon for the signifer. Only 4 bodies to a sprue, so you're going to have a couple sprues there. You do have a guy wearing the pelt. Now naturally, being someone who's built quite a few different ancient type kits, I know I've got plenty of bits to work with, but looking at this body type, I mean, yes, they are specifically made for late era Roman Legionnaires, but I mean, come on, this is like perfect for a whole lot of gaming purposes. Frostgrave, for example, he's a dude in basic chainmail, fancy little scarf, which I'm sure had a name, you know. His clothes look nice and, you know, functional, nothing fancy, nothing flashy, nothing weird, nothing unique. There are enough swords on the sprue for everybody to be carrying one. You've got enough spears. Doesn't look like, well, yeah, this wouldn't be the right time era for the guys to have the smaller javelins that I can't think of the name of at the moment. Pilum, right? That sounds right. I'm not... okay. This looks like the back piece that goes with the fur head for your command types. But then you've got all of the crests as well. Some various pointing fingers. I'm not sure what this weapon is supposed to be, if it's even a weapon. It looks kind of like a drumstick, kind of like one of the those sticks like the Optios or whatever they were called would hold. We've got some crests, or I can't think of the name. Headdresses, I guess. English is escaping me at the moment. Enough sheathed swords for everybody. So I guess much like a lot of the other kits out there, you're just going to clip off the actual hilt if you're going to have it in their hands, if you're that particular about things. I see there's at least 2 hands for the darts from the shield, and all of the shields actually have a full array of darts there. Plumbata, I think that's the right name, or at least it's relatively close. I'm sure somebody will comment on it if I got it wrong. I'm not sure what this hand here is holding. Some kind of a stick. It's either a big hash pipe or a horn. Maybe both. So yeah, we got a nice bit of stuff on the sprue. So yeah, 4 bodies. Maybe there aren't enough swords. I see 1, 2, 3. So it looks like we've got at least 3 swords, but yeah, you might want to think about that. Interesting head there. So it looks like, at least from a basic Legionnaire standpoint, you got most everything you're going to need to outfit these guys. Now, obviously, this is probably aiming with one box for smaller sized skirmishes, but, you know, that's not going to stop a lot of us that like to buy these and accumulate bits for all sorts of various projects, obviously. Naturally, I'm going to have to grab some other kits, both Wargames Atlantic stuff, as well as some of the various Romans and whatnot that I've got laying around. And we'll give them all a good look-see, and my mind is instantly going to, what can I do with this and the Wargames Atlantic Lizardmen? Can I smash them together in a functionable way? Let's find out, shall we? Alright, I got a couple Legionnaires all put together here. Now, obviously, I had to get the dart throwers on there first. They were just too much fun. Now, a lot of the guys, I ended up not bothering to clip the hilts off of the swords. I just didn't care. I was just like, nah, it looks fine. Obviously, these guys are going to need it anyways. And yes, I will be going back. I needed to get some new blades for my X-Acto knife holder, so I will clean these up a little bit more prior to actually painting them. I'm not 100% sure if I attached the, I don't know what you call that thing. My God, my brain is just fried. Top knot, headdress, ponytail, spiffle bopper. I don't know, we'll make up words, I guess. Anyway, I clipped off, there was a little, like, stud there, so we clipped it off and just, since it was kind of flat, glued it on. I think it looks okay. I wanted at least one with a fancy looking top knot thing. I'm like really just searching for words here. Started building a few of the shield and spear types. Not many though. I was more interested in just getting some of the dart throwers. I figure I'll probably do like 5 or 6 darts and then at least 4 or 5 of the swordsmen. One of the things that I was noticing was it was a little hard to gauge where the blade and the shields were going to line up. So that was a bit of an issue for me so far. I didn't build every single thing in the box yet, first of all because this is only Roman Legionnaires box 1. And that was actually very specific on the box front that this is only box 1 so far. So I figured, you know what, we might see some interesting parts on a subsequent box set. So I'm going to hold on to at least 2 or 3 sprues, and I'll probably save some back for swapping around and giving friends and stuff. So I was curious. Oh, and then I made a nice little signifer type dude, like on the cover of the box. I gotta say, the quality of the bodies, really nice, really sharp, really crisp. My gluing, not so much, but that's okay. That's to be expected. I am searching around here on the table, seeing if I can find some similar sized bases compared to some of the other figures that I've used. Obviously, the most pressing question for most of us is how are they going to stack up with other Romans out there. Now obviously these are later period guys, but I feel like they're gonna look pretty nice with just about anybody. Now obviously these are absolutely different time periods, so that's something to keep in mind, but size wise I think they look pretty good together. I don't think they're going to have any real inconsistencies if you wanted to, say, mix them in with some GW stuff. I think that is totally doable. Grabbing those poor little Imperial Romans. Sorry, guys. That's not what I was trying to grab. Some of the Dark Age Irish. I think if you want to have some clashes between the Irish and some of those later British Romans, that might be a possibility with these guys. I I'm also quite curious. I don't have any leftover Irish sprues, but I'm thinking they might work pretty well together. Sadly, I did try playing around with making some mutant Roman legionnaires with lizard heads, but the angle of the lizardman head does not match the Roman body at all, and there's absolutely no space back here to attach a tail either, so that was a bit of a disappointment. But what I'm probably going to end up doing is I will use some of the extra shields maybe, or at least some of the Dark Age Irish shields. I've got plenty of Romanesque shields, I think. And then I'm thinking what I'll do is I will cut off some of the spare pilum hands that I've got laying around and just glue those on to my lizards for some lizard auxiliaries. I know you guys and your Grand Canyon lizards will have the Romans fight down there with Cleopatra or whatever the deal is. I'm lost at this point. But, you know, I do appreciate the fact that push comes to shove, the Wargames Atlantic kits really do make me nostalgic for the types of models that, you know, I grew up building, where there was that possibility of conversion, where there was the option of kit bashing to my heart's content with whatever craziness I had handy. I have not done that yet with these guys. I know, I'm usually pretty good about that kind of stuff, but we will get to that point. I was thinking these would be perfect Frostgrave types, and I think looking at the size of the bodies, I think if you wanted to use these as a basis for your Frostgrave warband, look at that, the size. I mean, they're a little bit bigger, definitely more true scale than the Frostgrave stuff, but I think if you wanted to mix and match, you absolutely could with these guys. And I think truthfully this is just a great start for a nice generic disciplined warrior warband. The only real downside to this kit, I think, is there's a bit of a set in terms of posability. Like, everybody's going to have basically the same types of poses with their swords, but I guess depending upon which body you have, there's plenty of heads, and which arms you use. There's only like 3 or 4 arms, so the options of where they hold those shields is going to be a bit limited. But I think as we see some of the other sets start to release, and even the Goth set that's coming that has them pictured on the box cover, I think that's going to really help in terms of making a really, really unique looking Roman warband. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds for these guys, and in the meantime, I am absolutely going to get started on painting them. And I'm curious to see if we'll see any sort of transfers for their shields as well, because I know my freehand, if you haven't seen it, is absolutely awful. So I would benefit from something like that greatly. I don't think they've done anything like that yet with any of the Wargames Atlantic kits, but, you know, you're never too old to start something new. So, yep, we'll put a link down below to Wargames Atlantic's website. You can take a look, as they have a whole ton of stuff constantly rolling out that is fun and interesting, and definitely something that I want to get started painting with. And I am looking forward to finishing this video so I can go get started. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamerlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.